Hello, friends. How are you all? I hope you are doing great and taking care of yourself. If you are new to this YouTube channel, I basically share my learning experience on DevOps tools like Jenkins, Ansible, Terraform, and cloud related certifications. So, do go and watch that playlist and also share with your friends if it has really added an advantage to your current skill set. So without much further delay, let's quickly get into our week 1 of SQL for beginners journey. And what we are going to cover today is what is SQL, what is database, what are the database management systems like relational database, non-relational database, when to use what, and different database platform. So without much further delay, let's get started. So friends, let's quickly understand what is SQL. SQL is nothing but a structured query language which is used to communicate with the database for tasks such as querying data, updating data, creating and modifying the database schemas. Don't worry about this. We are going to learn this in every upcoming videos of our SQL journey for beginners. But for now, if you want to interact with the computer, you need to write a programming language which can be a C, C++, Perl, Python, or Unix shell scripting or any Unix command. And once you have written that, the it is interpreted by the computer in the form of 0 and 1s, which is a byte language. And once it is interpreted, it gets executed with the help of resources like CPU, memory, etc. And then we get an output of that. So SQL is nothing but that kind of a query language which is understood by the database, and the database then basically interprets it, and then basically it returns you the output. So in between, you write an SQL, there is a database server which can be your Oracle, MS SQL, or any other database platform or a database management system. And once that is interpreted, it queries the database, and then finally it returns you the output. As you can see on the screen, the user basically writes an query or a structure query language which is then gone to the SQL server. Finally, that database can be an MS SQL database, and then it is finally giving you an output in the form of data what you are looking for. So that's a very simple understanding of an SQL. What is an SQL? Let's talk about what is a database. So database is a place where we keep and organize the information so it can be easily retrieved and used when needed. So let me help you to understand this with a very simple example. When we were studying in our junior colleges or if you're studying in high high college or a junior college, you used to go to the library and ask librarian that, hey, I need this book. So that library is nothing but a database which has the information of the name of the book, the author of the book, and where that book has been kept. And the librarian is nothing but has considered it has a computer which has all this information. And when you ask that by using an SQL, it will retrieve that information and give it to you. For an example, I want the book of C sharp. Now I will go to a librarian and I will tell, hey, librarian, I need this C sharp book for whatever author you have available. Can you tell me where I can find? So the librarian will look out for that information and will then give you the aisle number and the list of authors for that C programming language, which is in this case C sharp, and tell you that we have these right now available and these would be available next week. So it has that information stored, and apart from that it will also have an information store like which person is holding that book, which will be returning back. So those all information is stored in the database, and it's a well organized information, and it can be easily retrieved as and when needed by using our structure query language, which is SQL. Now, there are different database management systems, right? So to store to store this whole data what we have been discussed, like a librarian, we need some server which we call it as a database server. And in that there are different database management systems, right? One is the relational database management system, which you are seeing on the screen. And what is this relational database management system? This database is where your data is stored in the form of tables, and the tables have are with rows and columns. As you can see on the screen, Oracle is one of the database management system. SQL Server is one of them. MySQL is another relational database management system. So remember, relational database is that database which has the information organized in the form of tables, which has rows and columns in it. Now let's look at what is non-relational database system. So non-relational database system does not use a tabular schema of rows and columns. Instead, that the data is stored in the form of key and value. So nowadays, many organizations are storing their data in the form of JSON, XML, and that is stored in using the MongoDB, Redis, or Apache Cassandra. So Redis is a popularly used database management, non-relational database management system to store the data of JSON, XML, or any document related data in the form of key and value. Now, when to use which database management system? If you are having the data in the structure format, then use RDMS. RDMS. If you need the data for the complex queries and transactionals, then use the RDMS. For data integrity and consistency is one of your critical thing, use RDMS. When to use non-relational database? As I mentioned, when your data is not in the form of tables and tables which is having rows and columns, and it is semi-structured data on structured data like JSON, XML, then we use the non-relational database. If you are looking for the high scalability and flexibility, then you use non-relational database. Real-time application and big data processing, you use the non-relational database. As you can see on the right hand side, the relational database is the table base and non-relational database is the key value or a document thing. So that's what is the non-relational database. I hope you got an understanding of what is SQL, what are different types of database management systems available, what are the platforms which support this. If you find this video has been helpful to you, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I look for the next exciting video on our SQL journey for beginners, where we will be installing the Oracle on AWS EC2 instance. So I'm too excited to get into an action of installing an Oracle database on AWS EC2 instance in our next video session. Until then, take care. Bye bye.